Hello, my name is Frank van Tillaart. Today I am interviewing Melissa Blignaut. She came onto my radar a few months ago as we are in the same mentoring training group, and the dancing goddess energy that she gives off is just a wonderful vibe that I really enjoy. In a few talks that we had so far, I came to learn a little bit about Melissa, about her love for dancing, about her trip to Bali. And today I would like to explore with you the story of Melissa and how she came to have that particular day in which she woke up earning $1,000, which is something that we in the group are all aiming for achieving. Um, so let's see how this goes. Let's give a warm welcome to Melissa. Melissa, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm really good today, Frank. Thank you very much for having me here on the live. I'm really excited to share with everybody my story. It's actually very funny. I've only shared my personal story with a few people. I've never actually broadcasted on social media. I've probably broadcasted just tiny bits of my personal life, but not a lot of it. So yes, I just arrived back from Bali. Bali is really a beautiful spiritual place. It's really when you step off the airport, you can feel that sense of vibration when you come off the airport. Like when you get greeted by the locals, you can just feel the goodness, right, being radiated from them. So if anybody is in the spiritual realm or anybody is on the path of finding their social consciousness, I recommend Bali. Bali is really a good place, especially there's one particular place where I went to. It was called Ubud. Like I didn't plan anything. I had like light plans. Like I really wanted to go to this one specific place called Uluwatu. That's where they have the beautiful beaches, and I think it's one of the top places to go and visit in Bali. But I didn't end up going. I was in this place called Ubud, and because of the energy that was in that place, I didn't want to leave. Of all the connections that I've made in that place, I really didn't want to leave. Like every day was a beautiful, conscious day, and just digging deep inside of yourself as a person. So I do really highly recommend Bali for you. So that should be on your bucket list.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome. We spoke about this before a little bit, and I actually added Bali to my biggest bucket list because of that. So the spiritual journey has been a huge part of my life as well for the past, let's say, 6 years. So I'm really excited to dive into these questions. We've already read through them. They will really take us, I think, on that emotional roller coaster that belongs to the spiritual journey and finding out what is true for you, what is true for me. Um, Having said that, anything else you want to share before we dive into the questions?
I just want to share, thank you for taking the time to interview me. I know it's like you literally just woke up, it's like 9 a.m. there, and we are definitely on the other opposite side of the world, like it's 9 p.m. here. So thank you very much for taking the time, and I appreciate everybody for being here tonight.
Cool. Let's give a warm welcome to Shannon and Maria as well. Thank you for joining us today, guys. So, a little bit of an introduction into why and how I shape these questions like I do. I believe myself that it is very important for everybody who is on the spiritual journey or basically on the journey of human life to understand and to investigate for themselves what is my source of energy? Why do I live the life the way I do? Why do I make choices the way I do? And instead of being encumbered by all the daily activities and never having enough time, where many people are stuck in life, I believe, We should start at the other end of the spectrum, and we should start by asking the question, what is my source of energy? What do I do daily that gives me more power, more strength, more faith to continue these things in life? Many people call this God or source or the universe. But Melissa, I'm looking for your personal perspective. Can you describe for us what that source of energy looks like and how that gives you energy in your daily life, in your journey towards more spirit and whatever it is that you do?
Yeah, so I would basically say that recently my source of energy is happiness. So happiness is the sole driver of anything that you want to achieve in your life, or any path where you go into your life, whether it is a specific environment that you go into, whether it is people that you meet, come in contact with. If you have the inner happiness within yourself, everything becomes so much easier. It's like you have this big sense of clarity within you. It's like you have this broader vision. You can see everything. Everything is, you don't have a narrow perspective of life. Like, for example, when I do have this inner happiness within me, what I found is that I naturally attract happiness. Somehow, when you become like a happiness magnet, no, when you are happy, you become like a happiness magnet. So you would be attracting other people that's happy, or things that just naturally appear in your life, like on your path, that creates an extra into your happiness. So that means your circle of happiness becomes bigger. The source becomes bigger. The energy vibration becomes so much bigger. And it's harder for you to move out of this circle, because now the happiness is so broad. There's so much that you can dig in, but what I have found is that my energy source actually comes from a lot of different things, and I truly believe that this is people's happy center. This is where and how you can find your happy center, is when you realize, what are the things in my life that contributes to my happiness. So what I say is that, if I have to make an example, is that happiness is like a circle. And if you are in the center of the circle, there's different aspects here around in the circle that contributes to your happiness. For example, mine is dancing. So dancing is my passion, right? Dancing is my happy place, is what I found. The more I'm dancing, the more it boosts my happiness with inside of me. The more I have energy. Like last year, I was literally dancing for 7 days a week when I had competitions and performances. And I have no idea where all the energy came from, but it's because I realized that was my source of happiness. That was my happy center. And my other happiness was coming from my parents, was having that relationship with my parents, with my family, was the bond that is created. So that is another piece of the pie that's full. The other piece of happiness is music. I love music. So music is something within me. It becomes like a source of vibration within me. It's hard to explain. It's people who really love music. You just feel all this energy, and you just want to dance, and you just feel good. You just naturally feel good. And then another piece of the pie would basically go into the environment, like into the nature, like the ocean. I really love going to the ocean. When you take time, I almost call it like a timeout. When you take time to be present in the nature, it just brings you like a flush of, wow, this world that we live in is a beautiful place. What we have been given on this earth is really beautiful. And life is actually really beautiful. It is people that make things complicated. It's people that has been placed on earth that makes life difficult. But I say, if you had to take the people sometimes out of the equation, the influence, destruction and things like that, the negativity and all that. When you remove that, you have beauty. You have pure beauty. And I say, when you know, or when you fill all these things in your circle, you become, it's like a fulfillment. It fulfills you as a person. And when you have all that available in your life, you have beauty. Not beauty, you have happiness. And that happiness continues to live within you. And when you do have this happiness, people can see it. Sometimes I have random people come up to me and they're like, I don't know, they say you're glowing, or they can see the light, or they can feel the energy, the good energy from me, radiating from me. And I was like, wow, I didn't do anything, or I didn't really say much. But it's amazing how life works. When you do have this, it really opens up a lot of gates. It opens up so many gates for you when you have that within you. But happiness is a really big topic. It's a massive topic. Like I can go on for days talking about happiness.
I love that. I can go on about happiness for days as well. But I really down to earth feel, by the way, dancing, people, music, being around. I really love that saying. When I'm happy, I'm dancing, and when I'm dancing, I'm happy. Either way, I'll be dancing, and I'll be happy. So I have the same thing, I guess. Dancing has really been a big part of my life for the past 8 years as well. And I truly enjoy it. I truly enjoy dancing. I truly enjoy going out, just being in the music with the people. I do have a question about how you view happiness and the inner happiness. And I always say that it's like happiness, which is outside of us, and there is joy, which arises from within. Do you see a distinction like that? Like there is outer happiness that we see around us, there is inner joy that really is that light shining from within?
Yes, I do believe that it comes from within you as a person, but I do sometimes it's natural for people to have that within them because it comes from their personality, or it comes from the good environment that they come from, or it's like a stimulus that has happened for them over time. It's almost like your subconscious mind is a really powerful tool. So whatever you are exposed to, whatever you see, like for example, from your childhood, how you were raised, keeps imprints in your mind. It keeps these imprints. I say that your brain is like a filing cabinet, and it really stores everything there. But sometimes when you do go out for example, if you go out in a specific environment and you smell something, it's like, oh, it reminds me of something, but I don't actually know what it is. It is something that was stored. It's a memory from your childhood, like a specific fragrance, something from a candle or whatever it is. But that's just how powerful the mind is. So, but where it comes from, this inner happiness or this inner joy comes from a choice, I reckon. Because mine started with a choice. Mine started with something had to happen in my life in order to realize Maria just commented that she cannot hear. But yes, I'll continue. So in order for the inner happiness to take place, there's 3 things I had to realize. 3 things is that I need to be grateful. That I needed to be grateful of the things that I have, about the people that's in my life, everything that is available. And the second thing was appreciation. I had to appreciate things that I had. I had to appreciate the family. I had to appreciate all the things that's coming to me in my life. I had to appreciate that. The third thing was thankful. To be thankful, and to be thankful for God for creating us. For God for being present and for showing us the path of where we are meant to be. in the right time, in the wrong place, or in the wrong place in the right time. It's all this journey that we're in. But in order to have that inner happiness within myself, I needed to realize those three things. Because before, I didn't have those three: gratitude, appreciation, and thankful. So when I had those three, it was easier for the inner happiness and for the inner joy to be felt inside of me and to be expressed out into the environment.
I love that. I love the way you also say it all starts with a single choice. You know, I tell that to people all the time. You know, when you're down, when you're in the shithole, when you're in that negative spiral, you know, no outside influence can help you or save you or, you know, get to you because you deflect everything. The only choice you have to make, you know, at a certain point in time, you know, you have to switch that most inner switch, and it'd be like, you know, to switch it on instead of being in the shitstorm, in the negative spiral. I'm going for positivity, I'm going for happiness, I'm going for optimism. And then you start to discover how time actually works, you know, being grateful for everything in the past, you know, being thankful for everything you can do now, and, you know, taking action with actual intention, with a target in mind, with a future in mind that is better than the past, or at least has the option to become better than the past. And through that way, everything that we experienced in the past can become a foundation, and we can build a future. And every moment, every conscious choice that we have is about flipping that switch upwards and finding the positive, optimistic way to do life. Cool. From that perspective, you talked a bit about energy, music, dancing as a source of energy. There was a brief mention of God, after all, also as a source of why we do things and why we can be grateful for everything that we have in life. In that perspective, the role that you play in life, if you have 24 hours in a given day, or 7 days in a week, or so many years in a life, what do you feel is the role that is given to you, or that you want to dress up as, to continue life? What makes you most happy with all those things?
Wow, so the role is really massive. The role, I always feel like, since I was maybe, say, at the age of 17, I always felt like some people come to me, or I attract some people that has some sort of problem or some sort of issue. And then I feel like I'm the instrument. I am sent an instrument from God to help them either with some sort of motivation, some sort of inspiration, or some sort of guidance. And some people that I've met over time, like, suffer from depression and anxiety. And I don't know, for some reason I've been attracting a lot of people that is suffering from depression, but I feel like I am their light source. For some reason, I feel like I'm their light source. And I feel like if I can spread this light, or just give them some of the light switch will turn on. It will turn on for them eventually. And then they can follow this light where they're meant to go, this pathway that they're meant to go. And I realized that I was doing that. I didn't actually know that I was doing it at the time, until I realized, wait a minute, I'm attracting so many people that I have to help. Why can't I do this on a massive scale? Why do I just get one at a time? So I feel like my role here on this earth is to help on a massive scale. help people on a massive scale. So my vision, I will share this with everybody because I really want it to be a ripple effect within this environment. I want it to be expressed through everybody, and I want everybody to take it on. It doesn't matter, my vision could maybe have an influence on you as a person, but I want to create a wellness cause in schools and in the workplace, because I believe that the foundation starts with the kids, but it also has to be moved into the parents, because the parents are in the workplace, right? So if you can have those two combinations, if I am having these causes in the school place and in the workplace, imagine what the next generations will be like. Imagine how many people can be light workers. Imagine how many people can transfer this message into the environment so that they can create not just a better life for themselves, but for everybody else around them. Everybody. And the vision becomes so broad that sometimes there's no more paper to write on. There's no paper to write. And every day the vision becomes bigger and bigger. The purpose becomes bigger. It doesn't just stop there. It doesn't stop there. And my role is to create a difference. It's to make an impact, and it's to give back to the people. It's to give back to the people.
I really love.
Like, it's not about me. It's not about me at all. It's about the ones in front of me, behind me, beside me.
I love everything that you just said. I went on a similar trip in my own mind about 3 years ago, and I'm like, if we can spread the message, if we can give it to the people, to the children first, to the parents and the teachers and the politicians, and the bankers. Let's see if we can give everybody that positive vibe, and if we can get everybody motivated for themselves to find that switch. What it led to for me eventually is that I'm like, wow, I need to complete like 100,000 different projects in order to raise the vibration of the planet. So that got me thinking about how can I, support so many people without having to individually, get into contact with all of them. So my vision became a bit more in the background, helping people that help the people that actually help the people. So it's a bit of a foundational thing that I'm offering as well. But I really love that. But being a light worker and bringing positive change in the world, those are very generic terms. You're already a bit more specified with, mentioning the children and the next generation. But could you narrow it down a bit more? If you're like Melissa, you have 24 hours a day, you have so many years to spend in this life. Is then the schooling and the children, is that the thing you are going for, or is there another way to narrow down where you will find those switches to turn on?
So basically, I tell myself, so if I had to explain what my day is when I wake up, first thing when I wake up, I actually do my self-talk, whether it is in my mind or whether it is out loud. And I say to myself, I will be going to schools in South Africa, because I'm originally from South Africa, right? I'm going to go to schools in South Africa and I'm going to motivate kids. I'm going to help kids. I'm going to create a better life for kids on a large scale. And in New Zealand, I'm going to go to different schools in New Zealand. I'm going to talk to them. My aim and my goal is to be the speaker, top inspirational speaker on a massive scale, an auditorium full of people. So I say that to myself when I wake up. That's like manifesting. I'm putting it out as my intention out into the environment. And I'm saying that every day when I wake up.
Awesome.
And so basically, and then when I go sleep, I say a prayer. I say a prayer to God. I say I'm thankful for the day. So if anything, whatever is happening in my day, I say I'm thankful for it. And I just say I'm grateful for my parents, and I just say everything that I'm grateful for. And if there's any situation that popped up, I pray for that. I pray for the people, and so on. Yes.
Awesome. I actually have a similar plan to go through Africa, South Africa, in 2020. So 2019, cleaning up the local place where I live and preparing for a big trip. And then
Yeah.
2020, I want to go to several different sites in Africa and maybe other parts of the globe. To see
Mm.
where we can help, where we can, the local people who are not that fluent on the internet language, perhaps, or some other local sites that need
Mm.
or can use a bit of guidance. I would really love to go there and just get down and dirty also with the journey instead of being the spiritual. We are way out there and we are happy. We also have to actually change things in this physical reality to make a difference. So I really love that. Definitely. Um, from that perspective, the dancing, goddess, loving music, loving parents, loving children, being at school, being that light bringer that brings positivity into the world. Um, how have you found or determined the strategies that you apply to your human life? How do you decide what activities to do? Do you decide what to focus on? Can you share something of that?
So basically, it all started off with. So I will tell my story because this didn't just happen overnight. It's not just one day I decided, oh, I want to go to schools in South Africa. Oh, today I'm really happy, or I have all this happiness and confidence within me. It didn't just pop up in my head. I wasn't like this all the time. If I had to use one example, so last year, actually around this time, it was the 11th of November, I went to a festival called Fiesta del Sol. So this is basically a summer festival. So in that time, last year, I was very depressed. I was very depressed because of I I was in a 4-year relationship and we broke up, and then I met somebody else, and the person really broke my heart. They like literally ripped my heart out of my socket. And when you go into a negative, when your brain goes into a negative space, you actually think about all the things that has happened in your life. So when I was a kid, I was bullied. When I was in primary school, I was bullied. Kids used to pull my hair. They they used to make fun of my nose because my nose, the bone here didn't fully develop. I don't know. I think when I was a kid, it was probably even a little bit more. The appearance was a little bit more flat. So I had this for a really long time in my primary school, probably my whole primary school life, from I started until I finished my primary school. I was never fit in a group, and kids would make fun of me. They would just all of a sudden they would want to fight me. When I think about it, it's so silly. Like, because in South Africa we used to walk home from school, and because it took us maybe 30 minutes to walk, we always walked to my grandma, and you have to walk to the shops, and there's like a field, and the kids would always tell me, oh, they're gonna wait for me in this corner, this specific corner I used to call hyper value. I still remember. They will wait for me there and they're gonna beat me up, is what they told me. So my self-confidence was very broken down. I was an introvert, and I basically hated school. I hated going to school. I didn't want to go to school. I used to go home and I used to cry in my room. And I remember maybe in my second last year of primary school, I actually was literally sitting with a scissor. I wanted to cut my pulse, but I couldn't do it. I didn't have the guts to do it. So I spoke to my parents and my dad. My dad used to be a priest in the church for 23 years, and he spoke to me. Without them, without my parents, I probably wouldn't have been here. So I'm really grateful for my parents. But the thing is, when I went to high school, I don't know what happened. I think it was probably the inspiration from my dad that inspired me. So when I went to high school, I think I just mentally made a decision in my life, and I was like, I'm not going to allow this to affect me in this different environment that I'm in now. These kids, they don't know me. They don't know the background. They don't know that I was bullied. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to make friends with some of the kids in the class. So when the teacher used to go out of the class, I went to go sit next to them and talk to them. And that's when my dancing confidence actually started. Our school used to have talent shows. And so I signed up as solo. I danced solo on stage for my whole high school life. And the kids actually started calling me Catwoman. But I just thought it was funny because I had ballet background. I started ballet when I was eight years old. And then I did other dancing as I went. And I don't know, it's like my dancing was probably one of the reasons that brought out the confidence in me. I think it was like a substitute for the pain that I was going through when I was in primary school. It was just a big, happy place. So last year when I was in that really dark place, all those things popped up. All the negative popped up from when I was a kid right through to up until the age of 26. So in that time, I actually consumed a lot of alcohol. I would literally drive intoxicated. And I don't know why I did this. Most stupidest thing I could have ever done is drink and drive, especially in New Zealand where the laws are quite strict. If you are intoxicated, they will take your car and they will take your license. But I didn't care. I literally didn't care. There was a time I didn't care. I just drove over the red traffic lights. I didn't care what was going to happen to me. I just didn't care. And the thing is, there's this feeling that sits here. And this feeling doesn't disappear. When you're in that negative state, it just doesn't disappear. It stays there and it's like a deep swallow. Until one night, I was really intoxicated and I found myself in this bathroom. I was locked in a private lock. I think my drink was probably spiked. I don't know. Somehow my conscious mind probably popped in as like something is not right. So I went to go lock myself in the bathroom. And I tried to ring my brother and I tried to ring my friend, but because it was probably really late, they were sleeping, so nobody picked up. So I sat there and I just cried my eyes out. And when I did that, one of the girls that was in the bathroom knocked on the door and she asked me if I was okay, but I didn't reply. And then she went to go call the security, and the security came to knock on the door and he was like, if I don't come out, they will call the police. So I had to go out. So I went out and they put me in a taxi and the Uber, they called it Uber, and they brought me all the way home. And the following day, I had to attend a really big seminar. This was the first time that I was exposed to a business, but because of my condition, I couldn't go. I couldn't go because of my condition and my state that I was in. So I missed it. It was well, they came from Australia, so it was one event that I missed, and I just missed it. I just missed it. And that day, something just told me, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? So actually, I spoke to my dad, and I spoke to him about everything. I just told him everything, no matter how dumb it sounds, no matter how shameful it sounds, because I didn't want to feel the way I felt. And because I was very irresponsible for driving intoxicated. Like even one night I crashed my car in the garage. Like, how do you even crash your car in the garage? So the time when I spoke to him was the time that probably some sort of light bulb went on, and I went to go seek help. I went to go talk to another person. It was one of our, we call it vessel of blessing. So no matter how shameful it sounds, I just spoke to him everything. And when I walked out of there, I just started seeking and seeking. And when I prayed to God, He sent me all these things. So He sent me this mentor that studied for 30 years the quantum of physics, of the power of your mind, how it works, how all the layers in your brain works. And I don't know, I'm probably very lucky that this person has stepped into my life. And my best friend was pregnant at the time, and she went to a meditation event and she invited me. So I went. I thought it was the most weirdest thing. I went to, they call it kirtan. It's like a sound vibration, so they sing. And I thought it was really weird. But then she invited me again, and I went again. I still thought it was weird. I went the third time, and I was like, okay, why is it weird for me? And it's because I wasn't participating. I wasn't participating, so I participated. When I participated, when I walked out of that room, it was like I was on a cloud. It was like I was on a cloud, and I just felt so happy. And I didn't want that feeling to disappear, because that was the first time in my life, not life, but the first time in that dark time that I felt happy. So since that day, I chased those events, those meditation events. I started doing yoga. I started going to conscious events, to awakening events. I started going to sound journeys. I started following these people that's on this very conscious path, and it changed my whole life. It
Wow.
changed my whole perspective of life. And
Wow.
because of a mentor that's coaching me through this process, where it's being broken up into the power of the mind, the power of the thoughts, the power of belief, the power of the vibration, the power of the energy that you put out into this world is what you will attract back. And now that I've learned this from my mentor, I realized back then it was the thoughts that I had that gave me that situation that I was in. It was the state that my mind was in that gave me that condition.
If I can interject for a second, because I think we are on the verge of a breakthrough in the story, and I'd like to summarize a little bit of what I've heard. And part of the story really resonates, and really is very similar to things I went through. I've had about two of those moments in my life now in which I was like, something needs to change. And before we get to that moment, I think many people will recognize, before we get to that moment, and perhaps some people never get there, I don't know, I'm still discovering how people go through life. But very often what happens is, we are in a situation and our thoughts control our life, our emotions control our life. And in those situations, we look for the meaning behind things. We look for, why does this happen, and then that happens. And in my last personal journey through awakening, psychosis, depression, label it any way you want. I really discovered that if you attach meaning to the negative things that happen in your life, more meaning will be attached to the negative things. And then it piles up and it piles up and it piles up until you are like, I cannot take the pressure anymore. Something has to change. And you mentioned it in your story, Melissa. You came to that moment, that realization that something had to change. Could you view back on that once more? So we're in that negative spiral and you're like, something has to change now. And finally you get to that paradigm shift where you say, okay, instead of dealing with all this shit, instead of dealing with all this stuff from my past, I'm going to reframe it and I'm going to say, F all of that. I'm going to look at the future and I'm going to take action. And you are going to all those conventions and those meetings and all those spiritual gatherings. We are praying to God to give us abundance. Can you tell a little bit more about that? How did you get to that switch that put you in that positive spiral from then on?
So basically, I made a choice. It came down to a choice. Like when I was in that state, it was kind of like a breaking point. It was a breaking point in my life where I had to be like, stop. What are you doing? What am I doing? Where do I see this going? Is it something that I want to feel all the time? How is my life gonna look if I continue? Or will I still be here if I continue? Whose life will I take if I continue? Because of driving intoxicated, whose life will I take? Because it was like a light switch that my dad switched on in my head when I spoke to him about everything. And that was something. What if in that time that I was intoxicated, I would have killed somebody? Where would I be now? So I made a choice. And when I made the choice to change it, I actually took myself, I had to analyze. Basically, I had to analyze what is the things that's contributing to me going to this path. I had to identify what was the negative points in my life that is contributing. So I had to cancel them out regardless. I had a best friend for 8 years. I had to say bye to that friendship. The hardest it was, I had to say bye. She was my best friend and I had to say bye. But I had to do it because I didn't want to see myself in that situation anymore. So I just said bye.
Thank you for sharing, Melissa. That is truly a marvelous and bold thing.
And then when I continued to make the choice, I started to seek the things that will make you happy. So I started reading books. I started with this book the first book, I never really liked reading books when I was in school, to be honest. I hated books. When I went to university, I hated reading all those big textbooks. I did a Bachelor of Science in Biological Science. Now imagine all those books. I hated reading. But this one specific book, it was called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. When I read this book, I don't know what happened inside of me, but I was excited to finish that book so I can read the next book. Then I read a book called Pushing the Right Buttons. It's about different personality types, in which quadrant your personality falls, and what is this particular behaviors of different people. Is this book that I read. It was the author, I think name is Alison Mooney. It's a really good book as well. And I actually went to one of her live seminars. That's another thing that I did. I went to go and find seminars too, so I can boost my spirit, so I can boost it. So everything in life, everything is a foundation. It's like a house, and you build it, you need that foundation. And that's what I started to do, because the foundation that I built was not, it was broken. The house couldn't even be built. It just fell down. So I had to make a new one. I had to create a new one. So I started reading these books. I went to these seminar events, motivational events. I started going to meditation. I started going to meditation events, started going to yoga events. Just all the things that will make you feel good inside is what I chased. And then, because God is so good, He sent me this mentor that is also on the spiritual journey with the quantum physics, the healing power, all these techniques to help you. And now it's a constant, because I'm on this constant vibration, there's no space for negativity. And it has become so big that when I am in an environment, I can sense that negativity, and I make a choice. I either take myself out of the equation, or I tell myself, okay, next time I won't go there again. I won't do this again, because this is how it's affecting me, and it's not, it doesn't serve me. So just let it go. Let it go.
If I can summarize on that, thank you for sharing about the friendship, by the way. That really touched me, and it's truly amazing how some people have a negative impact on each other and still choose to continue such a relationship without, consciously thinking about, does this make me better as a person? Does this make me feel better? Does this relationship help either person to continue further on in life? I think it's one of the toughest choices we have, to say goodbye to friends that we know for years. That's really a yeah. What can I say? Thank you. Having said that, there's a paradigm shift at a certain point. You mentioned we flip on the switch, and then we start committing to self-development. We start committing to investigating our reality, whatever dimension that may be played on. We start looking for a better way. We start getting into that mindset of, if I want to be better, I have to be around people that are better. We learn from each other with the right kind of friendships. That is definitely possible. From that moment that you switched on the light, I think there is a kind of a certain a period of uncertainty, of a period in which you go up and down the waves rapidly before it starts to stabilize a little bit again. Can you tell us a little bit about how you went through that? How did you commit, and how did you hold on to that vision of things getting better? The upward spiral. How did that go?
So now that I'm on this continuous good vibration, I found, or somehow from the universe, I had somebody contact me and referred me to this guy called Darren Little. He's our mentor. So this guy is amazing. I really appreciate him. I really admire him. I'm so grateful for him, because he has not just switched on ideas and things in my mind. He is continuously inspiring and motivating to bring out the goodness within me. So when he brings out this goodness within me, it's like I found my inner truth as a person. I found my inner vision as a person. I found my inner purpose. as a person. And every time, like we came from a 30-day mentoring program, and this program was mind-blowing. It is like next level quantum physics, wave vibrations, how the brain particles work, and how you can set yourself on this continuous good vibrational energy is through the personal development, is through the personal self-help, it's through the continuous self-motivation that increases your self-esteem and it increases your confidence. I have no idea how I have all this confidence, but it's because of this program that we are in. It's a conscious vibration that I love, because now that I have God with me, I have my meditation with me, I have this program with me, and it's making it a massive ball of fire, and it lives within me now. And this fire, I want to just give it to everybody. And I want everybody to feel the way I feel right now, because I know that deep down in everybody, there is an inner child that needs to be awakened. Or there's an inner goddess. Like I just came from Bali, my inner goddess was just awoken, and I'm bringing it here to Auckland. Actually, starting now the 19th of December, we're having our first goddess event. We are 3 soul sisters. I've made a new best friend, and I met another beautiful lady. She's actually from Finland, and the other one is from England. So we are making a trio, and we will be going to different events, inspiring and motivating other women that they can step in their power as a person and feeling good about themselves. Because there is a time that insecurities also played a really big role in my life. I have got no more insecurities, nothing. I have this sense of freedom with me, in my body, and how I feel as a person. And the way my brain works now, it's crazy. It is really crazy. And what you can do in life now, what I can do in life is not impossible. There's so many possibilities, and there's so many possibilities to create a better life for somebody else. And with the tools that my mentor has given us, there's so many tools that you can tap into that's unlimited.
I love everything about that. Having said that, that a little, praise the guy. Absolutely love the stuff he shares, and the motivation he brings, and the patience he has for us as students, however long it takes sometimes. Having said that, the conversation is also about how you came to make or wake up on that particular day making $1,000. In this positive light, can you share with us a few of the things that led up to that day? What have you done previously in life that prevented you from such days? And what have you learned and implemented now that led up to waking up with a $1,000 notification on your phone?
So from this mentorship, basically it's almost like you rewire your brain. I basically rewired my brain. I rewired the thought process in my brain, because they say that the thoughts that you create in your mind is the seeds that you plant. So when you plant a seed, you have to nourish it. And when you nourish this seed, you need to nourish it with water, with sunlight. And when you do that, it's when it will grow. It's when it will start to grow. So when you have a good thought in your mind, you are creating this good belief. It becomes a belief system. It's like a self-image that gets created. So when you have this good thought that leads to a good belief, your belief becomes your reality. You're putting this out into the universe, and whatever you believe to be true will be true for you. Whatever you put out, the intention that you put out into this world is what you will receive back. So on this journey, I had to learn how to rewire and reprogram my brain so that I can attract the abundance. Because abundance is everywhere. All of us sitting right here, all 5 of us, we all have abundance right now. We have abundance of family. We have abundance of friends. We have abundance of food. We have abundance of clothing. We have abundance of, in New Zealand, we have so much greenery and trees. We have abundance of oxygen. We have abundance of beautiful air that we are breathing in. And that's what we have to be thankful for. When you are thankful for that first, the other abundance and desires that you want in your life will just naturally flow freely. And this is what we've been taught in this mentorship by Darren Little, is that how do you reprogram your brain to attract the abundance into your mind? It's like manifestation. How do you manifest your desires into the world? Is that you have to visualize it. When you physically visualize your reality, it will become your reality. And that's what I've done. I'm doing my affirmations, I'm doing my manifestations, I'm talking to the universe, I'm doing my self-talk. And that's how I woke up one day and I just found $1,000 in my bank account. And because when you feel worthy of the abundance, you will be worthy. You will. So this is another thing that we were taught in the mentorship program, is how to love yourself. How to love yourself, how to feel worthy, how to feel deserving. Because if you don't have these 3, the abundance won't flow. It's like you're causing a mental block within you. There's a mental block. I call it, there's a mental block in your chakras. This is a book that I also read. I read a book, The Reiki and the 7 Chakras. So the chakras is basically, there's 7 energy points in your body. If any one of those are not aligned, it falls down. There's basically energy distortion. So for example, this is the bottom layer. If the bottom layer is not stable, the rest won't be stable either. If you know what I mean. So you have to work on the inner vibration of yourself. And this is what we get taught. This is what we get taught in this mentorship program, is how to realign yourself so that the energy could be in a good vibration. So whatever you put your intention into this world will become you, will become your reality, will become true for you, will become your belief, will become your belief system. And out of the blue, all these fascinating things will happen to you without you even realizing. And you, like, for example, if I have to use one example, one of my affirmations that I use is, I am a top inspirational speaker. And I'm gonna speak on this stage, and I have the message, I'm bringing the message to the people. This is one of my affirmations. I met a guy, and he does neuro-linguistic programming. It's basically the study of the mind and how the brain works. And he invited me to San Diego the 12th of January to come and give a talk there. And he said, I will mention you as an international speaker.
Nice.
I'm like, what? Isn't that what I just put out into the universe? And there's so many other examples that I can use, how amazing life is, how amazing it is when you have the right thoughts.
I think that is truly remarkable about, what is it that you do, and then, you talk about the inner work, you talk about how you speak to yourself, how you do the daily proclamations, how you put the wish out there in the universe. And a lot of people may have given a technical answer like, yeah, I put it this lead capture page, email list, everybody in online marketing knows the entire shebang. Only the difference is, have we implemented those things or have we not? And they only work if you do all of the things that Melissa just talked about. You have to do the inner work first. You have to be that positive attractor factor before any of the other stuff starts working. So I really love that, really love the answer. Can you tell me a bit more about your life experience now? You've been initiated in the program, we've had the 30 days. We are rescheduling, we are reprogramming our minds, our lives to be more positive all the time. What is it like to live a life in the day of Melissa these days?
Oh, it's like, I don't know how to explain this feeling I have inside me, but I want everybody to feel it. I want everybody to feel this feeling that I have inside me right now. It's like gratitude is the biggest one. The inner gratitude that you have within inside yourself. It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's like, for example, mostly when I'm driving in my car and I just look at the nature, it's like, wow. I don't know if other people experience this too, but this is what I want people to experience, is that the positivity, when you put your mind in a positive state, there's just so many positive stuff that you attract into your life. And to be honest with you, my life now is every day is a positive life. Every day is a positive life. Every day something happens that makes me smile, or something happens that's like, wow. It's like always, every day is like a wow. Or it's like, what just happened? Or literally I would sit with my mouth open, like, did that just happen? And then I would literally like jump around and be like, oh my God. Like, and I was like, please, I never want to lose this feeling, and I want to radiate this out into the environment so that other people can have this ripple effects within the environment themselves.
I loved all of that, Melissa. Thank you for sharing. Those were about the questions I had. So what was really important to me during the conversation is to get a sense of what is it that gives you energy. Dancing, music, parents, the children, the school, the dream for the future, to enlighten all the people. Then the role you wish to take on, the inspirational speaker, international, going to the schools, actually helping the next generation with taking that quantum leap into happiness through whatever means are available to us. And they are all on the inside, as we have talked about in various ways. The switch we are looking for to get a better life is inside each and every one of us. It is a very, very, very personal choice to make, to stop your own suffering and to go for a more optimistic, positive experience while we are here on Earth. Then getting into what do we need to do to get into a state of freedom, belief, repeat every day the beliefs that we have, the things we want to put out in the world. Don't give the negativity any more time. You know, when you have negativity and when you have reasons for negativity, it will pile up until you succumb to the pressure. So make that choice to live a positive life. Start building, start reading the books, start going to the seminars, start connecting with more positive people who actually lift you up instead of drag you down. I had a very nice talk about that yesterday evening as well with a new friend of mine. We can be in, here is an exercise for everybody. When you are or when you feel a little bit like you are being dragged down, stand up and imagine that you are in a negative spiral. And the negative spiral drains all of your energy. And then a slight step in front of you. Imagine that the spiral goes upwards towards positivity, and everything that you put into that spiral or take out of that spiral becomes the most optimistic, the most beautiful version of itself. And then from the negative spiral, you step into that positive spiral. And you can do that anytime, anywhere you are. If you are walking down the whatever, and you can imagine at every step you become more optimistic, more powerful, with more strength. And every step you leave a little bit of negativity behind. Not saying there is no negativity, because negativity is a part of life and we need to deal with it. But the way to deal with it is to package it up and to reflect on it and to respond to it, and not to be inside that package that contains the shitstorm itself. Having said all of those things, Melissa, is there anything else you would like to add to today's conversation?
I would just like to add, this is actually my dad's favorite words. You are the master of your own ship. You're the captain of your own ship and the master of your own destruction. The choices that you make today will govern your future. So everything in life is about a choice. How do you want to feel? If you are in a state right now, or it doesn't matter where you're finding yourself in some sort of negative energy or vibration, there's always a light. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I always say that nothing in life is permanent. Nothing is permanent. There's always that movement where you can move through. There's always that continuous movement. You always move forward. It's like the day is going on. It's like tomorrow you wake up. Today is tomorrow, and tomorrow is the day after. There's always you going and growing. So it's about growth. Life is about growth. Whenever you talk to people, they want growth in their life. They want to create a better person. They want to create a better version of themselves in the end of the day. And there's one thing that actually a lot of people have in common, is that they really want to give back. They want to give back into this world. They want to make a difference, and they want to leave behind a legacy. Those are actually famous words from my mentor, Darren Little, is that we want to give back, make a difference, and leave behind a legacy. And I say that everybody has a choice that they want to make, right? It's a choice. And the choice starts with you. The change starts with you, with nobody else. Don't blame other people for the choices that you've made. Don't blame yourself either. Look, I don't like the word blame. I just take the out of the vocabulary. It's just saying it's a life lesson. I see it more as a life lesson, that everything that comes onto your path or into your life is a lesson to learn, or it's something to take out of it, so that you don't make the same mistake tomorrow, or you can teach the following person not to go into that area, because you come from that experience, or you come from that background. So life is a choice. Your thoughts is a choice.
Having said all of those things, thank you, Melissa, for sharing. There is a final note to end this conversation. All of us truly hope that everybody who listens to this interview finds the power and finds the strength to make that choice, to flip the switch from wherever you are in life, flip it up to 100%, go for the positive, go for the optimistic experience, find your strength, find your source of energy, find the role that you can and want to play in life, and find the strategies, find the things that you can do, that you can implement, like talking about the daily proclamations, speaking into the mirror, doing the exercise I just talked about. Become the best version of yourself. And if you, like Melissa and me, like to stand on the shoulders of giants as well, you can get involved in the same training program. It's an amazing thing. There is all kinds of details to discuss. You can ask Melissa, you can ask me. There's additional videos that explore more of what it is that we do. Let me see, what have we got to say about that additionally? There's access to our Facebook group, to our chat. There is access to training videos. And there is access to Exciters Elite, which is a personal development, mind mastery library of videos. Access cost $13.49 for the whole package. You are set for a year. And it allows you to make, like Melissa did, the $1,000 commission for every person that you sign up. What this brings you is an incredible foundation that is used by the seven-figure income earners as a way of facilitating all other financial ventures that they have. So you really get access to the first and the most important thing that you need in order to build your financial freedom, and with financial freedom, and most importantly, the positive mindset. You will see that everything that you want to accomplish in life actually also becomes possible in life. So if those things don't excite you, if positivity doesn't excite you, if financial freedom doesn't excite you, please watch the video from the beginning. If it does excite you, get back to the person who sent you the link, click the button below, and let's take your life in a quantum leap to more happiness. Talk to you soon.
Thank